When American Horror Story Cult kicked off on September 5th, fans immediately started speculating that some of the weirdness between the show's characters could be a clown cult conspiracy. 4 episodes in, we now know the clowns are real and evidence is mounting that implicates plenty of people as members of the cult. Here's every character, ranked by how likely each might be one of them. FX Oz Mayfair. Richards Cooper Dodson. Seeing as Oz is a kid, we can be pretty sure he's not a member of the clown murder cult. Despite his mom, Ally, seemingly unsure if she's hallucinated all those clowns, Oz and babysitter Winter seems to be the only person who's actually seen them. Maybe he'll gather a clown-hunting posse of local kids to take them down, a la it. FX Ally Mayfair. Richards Sarah Paulson. As the person who keeps being terrorized by clowns, it's pretty clear that Ally's not one of them. Though it seemed Ally might have imagined the clowns earlier in the, it's pretty clear now at least some of what she's experiencing is actually happening. So why is the clown cult so obsessed with terrorizing, but not actually murdering, Ally? We're still waiting to find out their motives. FX Detective Samuels. Colton Haynes. The police detective who keeps showing up to investigate possibly fake clown sightings and the actual murders of Ally and Ivy's neighbors, Tom and Marilyn Chang. Samuels is pretty dull so far. But in episode 3, there's a new bit of information implicating him. He seems to be dating Harrison Wilton. We already know Harrison is connected to Kai Anderson, the apparent cult leader, which makes Samuels all the more suspicious. FX Ivy Mayfair. Richards Allison Pill. Fans immediately started to believe Ivy might be in on the clown cult after the first episode, when clowns repeatedly tormented her wife, Ally, but Ivy saw nothing. Now we know that Ivy knew Winter before she was hired as a nanny, and she and Ivy kidnapped Gary. The evidence that Ivy is a cultist gaslighting her wife is mounting in a hurry. FX Gary Longstreet. Chaz Bono. A cashier at a grocery store, Longstreet said Ally imagined all those clowns who chased her through his store. We now know that he's got a history with Kai, and that he was such a fervent Trump supporter that he chopped off his own hand. That doesn't all necessarily mean he's a murder clown. But you would want to take the odds. FX Dr. Rudy Vincent. Cheyenne Jackson. Ally's therapist shot up the list with a few key bits of information in episode 3. He knew about the phobia of the woman who was murdered with her husband at the start of the episode. In fact, the pair were killed in line with her fears immediately after leaving his office. And what's with those weird smiley face buttons he was arranging on his desk? The evidence is circumstantial, but it's mounting. FX Winter Anderson. Billy Lord. Kai's sister is working on an agenda of weirdness, and it's tough to say what her endgame is. She's definitely planting some weird ideas in Ozzy's head, and she knew Ivy before taking the job as Ozzy's nanny, making that incident with Ally in the bathtub all the more suspect. Since she and Oz were present for the Chang's murders, though, there's at least some evidence she's just a weird girl and not a murderer clown. FX Meadow. Wilton. Leslie Grossman. Meadow and her husband Harrison sure are involved in something with Kai, especially now that we know Meadow was aware of Harrison murdering his boss, with Kai's help. By the end of episode 3, however, there's a suggestion they're not actually cult members, even with their murdery history, because they might actually be cult victims. FX Beverly Hope. Audina Porter. With the backstory read in episode 4, we found out that local news reporter Beverly Hope is totally on board with Kai. She's seemingly using her position as a journalist to help sow the chaos that Kai intends to use to take over. Beverly might not be participating in any clown murders, but right now she's at least working in the clown cult PR department. FX Harrison Wilton. Billy Eichner. Episode 4 shows us that Harrison has bought all of what Kai's selling, and Kai even helped convince Harrison to murder his boss. The only possible exception to Harrison's obvious membership in the Murder Clown Club is the fact that episode 3 ended by suggesting he and Meadow had been attacked by the clowns. That makes things a little murkier. FX Kai Anderson. Evan Peters. Kai has a plan for something related to reshaping society in the wake of Donald Trump's election. He's helped cover up murders, and he's admitted to Beverly as being behind the clown murder of Serena Emma Roberts. He also personally benefited from the clown murders of the Changs, since that freed up the city council seat he's now after. All the pieces are in place that lead to the conclusion that Kai is the clown cult leader. Now the question is, who else is in it? FX Twisty the Clown. John Carroll Lynch. There's no denying that Twisty the Clown is literally a murderous clown. So far, though, he doesn't seem to be a real murderous clown, but a fictional one. He's only appeared in Ozzy's comic books and dreams, so he might just be a tormenting, gross-faced monster showing up to confuse the other characters about what's real and what's in their heads. FX. When American Horror Story Cult kicked off on September 5, fans immediately started speculating that some of the weirdness between the show's characters could be a clown cult conspiracy. 4 episodes in, we now know the clowns are real and evidence is mounting that implicates plenty of people as members of the cult. Here's every character, ranked by how likely each might be one of them.